Okay, so we've just gone through the setup. Let's talk a little bit about how the swing actually works. First thing you've got to remember when it comes to chipping, it's all about tempo, good transition, but also a good strike into the ball. Because the swing is very different to how a full swing works, we need to be able to disassociate the two movements. So very similar to how a full swing works, where we get a lot of load, a lot of turn, handle gets really high, the hands get really high, and a lot of turn in the backswing, and we want to try and drive and create power and even create what we call this lag position. In the short game, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be able to create loads of lag, because the one thing that will happen is that we'll need to try and get the amount of power or load out of the shaft at some point. And for me, that causes either a lot of pull-backs, a lot of pull-ups in the arms. So what we're really going to look for is to keep it nice and simple, nice and clean. So when we set up this golf ball, we've got our arms nice and connected into the side of the torso. What we're going to be looking for is that when we pull this club back, we still keep the pressure and the structure in the arms and torso, like so. So it's going to feel as though if you want to get a little bit more length, the right elbow will start to fold slightly, but also ride up the right hand side of the rib cage, like so. So we're not going to see this disconnection from underneath the right armpit. We're really going to keep them nice and connected and pull them back to create your turn. One thing you've got to remember as well is when you're chipping, we want to just make sure that we're in control of the loft, which then, most importantly, works the bounce correctly as well. So when we take this club back, we don't want to be shutting excessively or opening excessively, and you can see what I'm doing here with my wrists and my forearms. So we really don't want to be doing that. We want to be keeping it nice and simple, keep the loft on the club, and then work it into impact. When we talk about transition, we talk about smoothness and the motion of how the body works. We don't want to see on the way down into impact what we call pulling of the shaft, or the pulling of the handle, sorry. What this means is that when we try and create lag in the downswing, we actually get the handle working this way, so forward towards target and also down. This, for a lot of chippers, results in poor contact and poor strike. The swing, our body's starting to rotate, starting to turn, and then what we're going to try and achieve is that golf club, or the handle, is starting to work in this direction here, up and around me, rather than pulling down and creating this load. Unfortunately, loading the shaft, if you create too much, at some point you're going to have to try and unload it. And because the swing is so small, unfortunately, we just do not have enough time to do that, and it's not quick enough to do that. So, on the way back, we've got this position. On the way through, we've created rotation, a little bit of forward momentum going forward towards target. Will look like, just with a little quick swing,